you here in person for the first time this Congress. You mentioned in your written testimony that under President Biden's leadership, America is building back better. Mr. Secretary, I'm here to fight for American agriculture, for Kansas farmers. As you know, farmers and ranchers are facing record inflation. Fertilizer prices have quadrupled. The price of diesel has doubled. Farmers can't find inputs, pesticide inputs. They can't find tractor parts. And many farmers feel that these supply chain issues have been exacerbated by President Biden's policies. Parents can't find baby formulas. The hope for new ag trade deals is bleak. We don't have a USTR for ag nominee. The EPA continues to push non-science-based decisions that eliminate pesticide tools that help produce higher yields but yet decrease their carbon footprint. Based upon your written statement, I don't know which producers you're talking to, but they're not producers I've been seeing in Kansas. You've been Secretary of Agriculture now for almost 10 years on and off. We expect you to be a loud voice, a voice for farmers, for our agriculture producers in the White House. I want to follow up with Senator Grassley's comment about the U.S. Solicitor General's statement on federal presumption of pesticide labels, emphasizing that glyphosate is used in roughly 40% of acreage. It troubles me. I think you said you weren't consulted on this issue. We expect you to be proactive. Did you not speak to the president of the EPA about this? Are you not urging them? Do they not understand how important these pesticides are to decrease the carbon footprint and increase the production of our land? Again, you've been doing this for 10 years. We expected a loud voice. Or maybe you agree with the administration. Maybe you agree with the EPA.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what the question is.
Yeah,
Senator.
Why aren't you a louder voice? Why aren't you being proactive? It troubles me that you're not willing to speak up for American agriculture with this administration and push back on the EPA, to push back on the White House's policies in regards to this glyphosate.
Well, Senator, in fairness, let's take a look at the record. You mentioned exports and trade. We've had a record export year.
Can you speak to my question? Can you answer my question? Are you pushing back on the glyphosate issue?
Well, I've actually talked to the EPA about protective crop protection and encourage the EPA to continue to follow the science. That is what American agriculture is asking.
You testified to Senator Grassley that you weren't consulted, but now you're saying you were being proactive.
Consulted, and basically I have talked to the EPA about crop protection activities and products, and encourage the EPA to continue to follow the science and encourage them to listen to farmers and the farmers' concerns. And frankly, they have. And so, with all due respect, I am representing farmers. We're representing farmers on things like E15. We're representing farmers on record trade. We're representing farmers on climate-smart agriculture and providing resources. We're representing farmers in terms of disaster assistance. $6 billion of pandemic assistance came out from this department.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I want to go on to my next question. Wow. I want to talk about fertilizers just for a second. As you know, nitrogen-based fertilizers are dependent upon natural gas as a substrate as well as to heat the process up. Natural gas has doubled. Nitrogen-based fertilizers have quadrupled. One of the things we could do is to maybe decrease some of the tariffs on fertilizers coming into this country. Have you spoken out as a strong voice for agriculture to the president as well as ITC chair about maybe decreasing those tariffs? This administration has done a really incredible job, I guess you would say, of decreasing tariffs on solar panels. What are we doing to help lower the tariffs on fertilizers?
We've talked about that issue. We've also pushed back on export bans that have exacerbated the problem. I've been very vocal about that. We've created alternative risk management tools for farmers to be able to reduce the amount of nitrogen fertilizer that they need and be able to be compensated for the crops that they may not be able to produce. We've talked about conservation programs in terms of precision agriculture.
I need to get one more question in here if I can. 3030 is a big issue back home. When we spoke to you before, your plan was more CRP, but now we're talking about taking CRP out of the program. How do you balance those goals of this administration? What does that look like going forward to you?
Trust in the farmers. Farmers are basically speaking to us in terms of what their needs are. We're seeing an expansion of conservation practices with EQIP and CSP. and the Regional Conservation Partnership Program, the Climate Smart Agriculture Product.
But previously you said your plan for the 30 program was more CRP, but it looks like more CRP is going to come out. So how do you get to your goal of 30-30?
The 30-30 goal, Senator, includes conservation programs. It isn't just simply CRP. I would also point out to you that we are making an effort in terms of grasslands. We're seeing an increased activity in terms of CRP on grasslands. Farmers, however, we trust farmers to make the right choice and set of decisions for their operation. This year, they're taking roughly net 1 million acres out of the program and putting it into production. That's their choice. That's their decision. We respect that. In the meantime, we're looking for ways in which we can provide more resources from conservation programs, EQIP, CSP, RCPP, the Climate Smart Agriculture Initiatives. All of that is a significant amount of investment in conservation programs, all of which falls within the rubric of the voluntary, farmer-led 30 by 30 effort.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Madam Chair, I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Senator Klobuchar virtually, and then Senator Fisher. And I will say that one of 2 votes that we will be having has begun, but I believe we will be able to get through